sweet silver bells all seem to say, throw cares away. Christmas is here, bringing good cheer to young and old, meek and the bold. Ding dong, that is the song with joyful ring, all caroling. One seems to hear words of good cheer from everywhere, filling the air. Oh, how they bound, raising their sound. Oh, hill and dale, telling the tale. Gaily they ring, while people sing songs of good cheer. Christmas is here. Merry, 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 merry Christmas. Merry, merry, merry Christmas. All listened, all without end, their joyful tone to every home. Hark how the bells, sweet silver bells, all seem.
Hello, my friends. Welcome to Vlogmas. Okay, so I have my tea right here in my Lord of the Rings cup that Stacy sent me. I will have her YouTube channel linked down below. She so very kindly sent me not only this beautiful mug and the new tea steeper that you saw in the B-roll, but also my advent calendar with all of the teas that we get to try. So I'm very excited. This is going to be so much fun. Thank you so much, Stacy. So today's tea, we'll do the tea tasting first. Today's tea is honeybush pumpkin chai, which is one of my favorite flavors. I remember this from last year. I love it so much. Let's do a tasting. I have already tasted this, but if you're new here, I'll taste it for you again. I mean, we're going to taste all of them because that's what we do here. We do tea advent calendars in Vlogmas. That's just so good. The pumpkin vibes are kind of like light. The chai is just perfect. Like, I just adore this flavor. That feels like Christmas in a cup. I just love it. It's so good. Okay, so let's talk about the books. So I am going to mention this book, even though I finished it last night. I'm including it in, today is December 1st. I'm including this in my December books because I finished it late last night and I already filmed my wrap-up yesterday. But I read Things We Never Got Over. I did read this. I finished this. And I gave it 3 stars. And so this book was never going to be something that I love because it does a lot of things that I don't love. However, I do see why people love this. It just had, again, and I'm going to slightly get into it. I don't want to talk too much about this because I feel like I really could for a long time. But, so this is basically a small town romance. This is a very long book. Like, this is like almost 600 pages, I feel like. 550. And while this book definitely wasn't the most awful thing I've ever read, the thing this book does very specifically that I don't like is it dwells hard in stereotypes. Very, very hard. Like, the hero is grumpy to the extreme. Grumpy about everything. Grumps here, grumps there. And like, look, I do like a grumpy hero, but I want there to be a bit more complexity as to why he's such a grump instead of just he's grumpy because he thinks she's attractive, or he's grumpy because he is just trying to protect her, or he's grumpy because he's fighting his feelings for her. Like, that's just the sort of, like, super basic, bare bones, and if you're gonna do super basic, like, let's not have it be 600 pages. Let's not do that. The heroine also was extremely stereotypical. Like, oh my goodness. She was the sunshine. She literally has daisies in her hair. She wears sundresses and only thinks about coffee. Like, I mean, like, the way that I'm talking about it, it seems laughable. Now, that's not to say that this isn't a fun story if that's what you're looking for. I do maintain that it definitely needed to be shorter. Like, there is absolutely no reason that this book needed to be this long. No reason whatsoever. So, that's the romance. She comes into town because she's got a twin sister who's causing a bunch of ruckus and says, hey, I need you to come, you know, bail me out. I got some problems. I need you to come help me. And so she goes into town, not knowing that everyone in the town hates her twin sister. And so she immediately gets there. People think she's the evil twin. and there's a whole bunch of problems. She ends up, finding out that her sister had an 11-year-old daughter that now has nobody to take care of her, so she goes to take care of her, and I just, like, this hero specific, my biggest issue with this book overall is just the blatant overuse of stereotypes. I also feel like I was pleasantly surprised when I started this to see that we have older characters. The hero is like 43. The heroine, I think, is like 36 or 37. And so I was very excited about that because I'm like, okay, this is a longer book. We have some more mature characters. We're going to have some really good emotional relationship. We're going to have some really good nuance. And we're going to have a meaty book is basically what I thought. And that is not at all what you get here. Everything in here is distilled down to stereotypes. Like, even the heroine's best friend, who is a gay man who's really good at doing hair. And I'm just like, does every character have to be a stereotype? Seriously? Like, that's just a personal pet peeve of mine. And again, like, I don't want to, like, trash on this book too much because I know so many people love this. Like, literally, I feel like me and Chandler are kind of the only two people I've ever heard of who don't absolutely love this book. So, but also, let's talk about the hero. Like, the breakup at the end was extremely frustrating for me. Like, I am going to rant a little bit because this is something that specifically frustrates me about this type of hero. So, this hero is so emotionally constipated. He absolutely cannot address his feelings. And I feel like we often get sold that type of hero under the guise of, well, he's just a grumpy hero, it's a grumpy sunshine, and, like, we eat that up, okay? And truthfully, I have done that as well. But I'm so absolutely tired of seeing heroes do that, where they don't know how to... heroes and men, because that's a very realistic thing. And that's the thing that I find frustrating about this, is that the way this hero behaves, except for, like, at the very end, and some of the sweet things he does, the way this hero behaves is extremely realistic to how so many men treat the women in their lives. They don't know how to express their emotion. They don't know what to do with their emotion. And so the woman is left to constantly be the emotional barometer to help him to help him express his emotions. And I just sort of feel like I'm just so tired of seeing that, of these men treat the women poorly because they don't know how to express their emotion in any way that isn't unkindness, anger, grumpiness. Like, no. So, like, I say this book is 3 stars, but the fact that that was such a huge element of this romance specifically, and I was supposed to believe that she actually felt swoony or loving or attraction for him besides the fact that he was so unkind to her. And, like, this isn't a bully romance. There wasn't really any reason specifically why he was behaving the way that's not entirely true, but it's spoilery. So I am so frustrated about seeing men who have no idea what to do with their emotions. And so then that is manifested in their unkindness and their cruelty and their grumpiness to the heroine. But the minute he says, oh, you've got a real effable body, then we're all, like, swooning and fainting. And I'm just like, absolutely not. I'm sorry. I did not mean to rant. I truly didn't. So, yeah, I'm going to give this book... I don't actually know. I feel like... I feel conflicted because this book wasn't unenjoyable, for sure. There were, there was a large part of this where I was bored. Just plain out bored. It didn't need to be this long at all. Specifically, it didn't need to be this long when we're not addressing weightier issues that we could have. Like, there was no reason for this. So, I don't know. I feel like this book has a lot of things that are in particular pet peeves of mine and things that I'm specifically sensitive to in romance because I see it all the time and I'm freaking tired of it. That's what happened here. The lack of maturity in the characters, for sure, but very, very specifically, the issue with the hero and how he was just so emotionally constipated, and because he didn't know what to do with those emotions, like, he lashes out, and nobody calls him out on it. I'm getting so angry. 2 stars. I'm sorry. I can't have this type of a reaction to the book, even if it's something... But again, like, because it's a romance, that's a crucial part of this book. 2 stars. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I know that a lot of you loved this that are probably watching this, and I am very sorry. but I just can't. I can't handle that type of hero who is dealt with in that way, and we're given no insight into... 2 stars. So there goes 8 minutes of this vlog. Okay, so I don't actually know what I'm going to read next. I think that I may pick up The Horde King. I think that's what I'm kind of in the mood for something like that, so I'm going to go with that one. And I'm physically reading Anastasia. I was very lucky to get an arc, but it's a very long book, and I'm just going to mention that when I finish it. I'll review that when I finish it, because it's going to probably take me all week to read. So, alright, I gotta get going. I've spent way more time than I had planned talking to y'all, but thank you so much for joining me with Vlogmas again. Thank you, Stacy, for the tea and the mug. I adored it. And, yeah. Thank you, my friends. I'll see you in a bit.
Up over Mars, you trim a tree, I put up a star. I wear a sweater, it's down to my knees, and you will kiss the freckles on both of my cheeks, and we will sing our own Christmas song.
Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the vlog. Today is December 2nd, second day of Vlogmas. I have successfully so far gotten up 2 videos for 2 days, and I'm feeling very proud of myself about that. So, we got a ton of snow last night, and yesterday, after I finished the Lucy Score book, which, honestly, I was pretty disappointed. I really wanted to like that book, and I really did not like it at all. And I think about that book, and I'm absolutely flabbergasted at the high rating that it has on Goodreads. 4.28. It just... Anyway, so I kind of struggled to pick up a book yesterday. I said I was going to do the Horde King one, and then I started it, and I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm feeling this right now. Like, that's a book I definitely want to read this month for sure. And I know I love that author's writing. Like, I'm positive I'm going to love that book. But for whatever reason, I just wasn't feeling it. And so then I ended up, like, watching YouTube videos from Bookish people for the rest of the day. And while I was working, like, I always have something playing while I'm working, you know? So I say I'm watching, I'm actually listening while I'm working. So, and then last night I was like, you know what? I don't know exactly why I choose the books I do sometimes. It's because, okay, long story long is I had planned to do a video or a vlog reading authors that I had tried one of their books before and I didn't like it. So like there were 3 authors I wanted to do. One was Cecilia Grant, which is a historical romance author. One was QB Tyler, and another one is Gianna Darling. So I ended up scrapping that vlog because I had started QB Tyler's new book and DNF'd it, and I'll be talking about that in a video that will be coming this month about like my DNFs and disappointing reads for the year. I didn't hate that book, that QB Tyler book, but I had a specific reason for DNFing it, and I'll get into it later. So I kind of scrapped that vlog idea, and then, but I had already bought When Heroes Fall. I don't know, the first book, I had bought this on audio, and last night I was like, okay, I think I'm in the mood for that. I think I'm in the mood for that. And okay, here's my complicated history with Gianna Darling, okay? I have been buying her books on my Kindle for literally years. Like, I think I bought my first book by her in like 2017 or something like that. Like, I've had it for a long time. And I just have never read them. And I don't have a specific reason why I never read them. But I've got them all on my Kindle. I don't know. Like, they just never, like, spoke to me. Weird, right? So then, was it last year or the year before? I don't remember when. She had this new series starting, which this was the first book. I can't remember the title. I think it's Dangerous Temptations or something like that. This was her new series she was starting. And I was like on this PR's ARC team, and I was like, ooh, I kind of want that. So I requested the ARC, had never read her before, started it, and y'all, this is the only ARC I have ever requested that I have DNF'd. I absolutely hated that book. It was okay, so the writing in that book, the way that specifically, like, the hero talks about the heroine, and, like, the immense age gap in that book was just so disgusting to me. And I know she has age gaps, and if you have an underage, no. Immediately no. But, like, the very specific way that this hero in this book talked about the heroine and his desire for her was giving me this vibe. Do you know what I'm talking about? Because I'm not going to put the clip of it in this vlog, but here's a picture. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I just could not. So I DNF'd it because I'm like, if I read this ARC, it's going to be like a 2-star book, and I don't want to rate an ARC 2 stars because I don't want to. I mean, Gianna Darling's a big deal. One review isn't going to really tank her, but I just didn't want to do that, you know? Anyway, so then I was like, wow, this author is not for me, and I do not get the hype based on the first, like, 20% of that book, because I was just like, I didn't vibe with her writing. Specifically, didn't like the over-sexualized way that she was writing. Like, it's just not for me at all. Yeah, so then I was just like, but, I've had a few people, specifically Chandler, recommended a book, which I then also bought and have not read, by Gianna Darling because she thought I would like it. And then I think it was Jen from the Book Refuge who also one or less times, I don't know, said you might like this series by Gianna Darling. And so I'm giving it a shot. And I'm liking it quite a bit so far. So that's good news. I'm very much liking it. I really like the setup in this book. I like that the heroine is a lawyer. I like that she has that little bit of power over the hero. Like, I find that very interesting. I really like that because he's the head of, like, the mafia, the capo or whatever, but he's also, like, the son of a duke, which I think is, like, a weird colliding of worlds, but it was fun. And he is in trouble, big trouble, gonna go to jail, big problems, big prison, I don't know. Because of big crimes he committed, and the heroine is going to be on his law team to help him not go to big jail. So, I'm really not describing this book good. I feel like everybody knows what this book is about. It's a dark mafia romance, and I do really like the way the hero is described. I think that she's doing a really good job of presenting him as a man of power, like restrained power. And I also find the heroine to be really well written so far. I really like her, the way that she struggles with things internally, which we're kind of starting to get a peek into it, which I'm going to talk about in just a minute. But I also like the way that she presents herself with this man. Like, she's very self-assured, she's very confident, and I like that. And I think that that's a big key for me. If you're going to have a man or the hero have so much power, like, you have to have a heroine who is equally strong, but not in a, like, bad bee in your face type of way, you know? And I really like this heroine's sort of quiet, straightforward, you know, take no BS type of strength. Like, I really like that. I feel like they have good chemistry. I'm only like 5 chapters in, but I am really liking it so far. So I'm, cross your fingers for me. I really hope I'm gonna love this one. And I don't know if it's because, like, I'm listening to the audio, which I do think the audio performance is good, whereas I read the other one physically, but I'm not really noticing any flaws with the writing, which I'm so happy about. Like, I'm enjoying this a lot. The only thing that I have noticed is the way that she does describe the hero. He's a very big, muscular man, like twice at least, I've clocked her say something like, he has so much muscle, and in the heroine's point of view, and she's surprised that he moves with so much grace. And I'm like, what do you think muscle does? Like, what do you think muscle does? Like, people that are muscular aren't just walking around out here clumsy and unaware of their bodies. Like, people with muscle are very familiar. They're athletes. They're very familiar with how their body works and moves. They're gonna move with grace, you know? Anyway, that's a personal pet peeve of mine if you didn't know. So yeah, I am very much enjoying it, and I'm very excited about this. The only thing that I am slightly nervous about, so this heroine has endometriosis and fibroids, and I also have endometriosis. It's one of my health conditions, and I just want to put a caveat on here that I have sort of taken a step back from talking about that because it's just such a painful area for me, and I've had such a really rough year that I can't talk about it. I'm so sorry, but my own personal. However, when you're reading a book that has endometriosis rep in it, it feels almost impossible not to compare or see how the rep is written. And it's just barely been mentioned at this point, so I have really nothing to say about it right now. But I'm interested because none of my friends, my book friends, know that I have endometriosis, and nobody has specifically told me or recommended this book to me because of the endometriosis rep. So, I mean, because this is a book where the heroine has endometriosis, I'm not going to be like, unless it's like way off there, I'm not going to be super critical of it. I'm going to try not to anyway. So, yeah, there you go. That's my reading update, and I just talk too much to you all. If this probably won't continue for the rest of the month, I'll probably end up losing steam. So this is today's tea, Passion Fruit Tango. I don't think I've had this one before. This is a new flavor. Yesterday was a flavor that I have had and I loved, and maybe this was in last year's, but I don't remember it. That's delightful. The thing that I really like about Adagio teas is that their fruity teas aren't super acidic. Like, they don't have like a ton of overwhelming like bite to them, you know. I really like that a lot. They're sort of mellow, almost like a little bit not earthy and not woodsy, but some kind of combination of that is not off-putting at all. So anyway, all right, so even though today is only the second day of Vlogmas, I am going to go ahead and end this vlog here. And in the next vlog, I will update you further on how I feel about this book, which I can't remember the title. Is it When Villains Rise or When Heroes Fall? I can't remember which one is first. I'm reading the first one. I'll update you on my, probably just my final thoughts in the next vlog. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe you will see maybe I just said goodbye and I will finish this book and I will have to talk to you about it and you'll see me in just a minute. So, in any case, one of those things will happen. Thank you for joining me for Vlogmas.